What's up, everyone? I'm James Young with jamesyoungphotography.com, and this is Teach Me How to Lightroom. Today I wanted to do a quick video on how to add a sun flare. So check it out. We're going from here, bam, to here. We're making it look like this image had the sunset in it already. I'm also going to give you some tips and tricks on when and where to implement this so that you're not adding sun flares like inside of a factory or something. So check it out, because this is actually pretty easy. I'm gonna go over here to my adjustment brush, or you can press K on your keyboard, and I'm just gonna hit reset because that's actually exactly where all of this magic takes place. So what you're gonna wanna do is take a brush and make it really, really, really large. Of course, this is gonna be subjective to your image. You're also gonna wanna make sure that the feather is set to 100. And what that's gonna do is it's just going to gradiate the effect, making sure that there are no hard lines. Now let's get into the effects that we want to add. Now check it out. Let's double click on effect here, and that's just gonna zero out all of our sliders. Now the first slider we're going to take a look at is temperature. And the sun is typically yellow if you live on Earth. If you live somewhere else, maybe a different color. I don't know. So let's slide that over to the right. We're gonna go pretty far in this example because we're simulating the sunset. And a sunset has lots of colors, lots of blues, purples, pinks, yellows, oranges. It has all kinds of colors. So we're going pretty warm here. Now with our exposure, we're also gonna crank this up quite a bit, probably about 2 stops of exposure because the sun is bright, AKA exposure. Major key. Now check it out. With that really large brush, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna make this brush even larger for this image because I want some of that spillover to hit the subject just like the sun is actually hitting the subject in the image. So let's crank it up even bigger, and let's go about here. Perfect. So I'm just gonna click and see what happens. And bam, we are already off to an outstanding start. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people would actually leave it here. And if you did, I wouldn't be mad at you, but you can definitely take it further. Watch. Now here's how you just take it to the next step. I'm gonna press new right here where it says mask. And now we're gonna start with a new adjustment brush, appropriately labeled after we press new. And what we're gonna do here, instead of doing a huge one, we're gonna make it really small in relation to the last one that we just made. And then we want to paint in where we want the middle of that sunlight to be. Now watch, I'm gonna click right here, bam. Now suddenly, even though that's a very, very subtle effect, it becomes much more believable. And the great thing is we can move it closer to the horizon line if we wanted to. We can move it higher up if we wanted to. We typically want to stay close to the center of the original adjustment brush, but regardless of where you put it, that's where the brightest point of the sun is going to be. So now we're giving the illusion that we're shooting directly into the sun. And that is essentially how you do it. Now check it out. If you wanted to, right here where it says effect, and now that it says custom, you can save this setting as a new preset. And you can see here, I already do have one set. I named it Fake Sun, very appropriately. Now check it out, just a couple of things to keep in mind when you do this. I did not choose the top right of the frame on accident, and I'll demonstrate what I mean. You always want to place your fake sun in supplementation to where the actual real sunlight is coming from, because you want it to be believable. Again, you want this to supplement the light that's there. You don't want to reshape the light that's existing. So here's a good example. I could have done something crazy like this, and this means one of two things. That means I have a really strong strobe or a flash on the right-hand side, flashing them from camera right to the left where they're at, casting shadows on the left-hand sides of them, with them being backlit with the sun in the top left. However, if this were real backlighting, the subjects would have some rim light to separate them from the background. And the same idea if we wanted to do it up here or really anywhere else. You just don't want to put the sunlight anywhere. You want to put it where it naturally, within your composition and within your ambient lighting, supplements it. So now if you ever have an image like this and you really think that having a sun flare would set it off, you can absolutely do it in Lightroom. Normally you would have to do something like this in Photoshop, but with the power of Lightroom, you can do it. You can save that step of editing it in Photoshop. Of course, if you want to do something more intricate, you would have to do it in Photoshop, but make sure you use Lightroom to its fullest potential before you leave the sandbox. Well, hopefully you learned something. If you like this video and you want to start adding sun flares to your photos, leave a like down below. If this is your first time checking out one of the videos, it would be awesome if you subscribe to the channel. Well, I'm James Young with James Young Photography, and this is Teach Me How to Lightroom.